Something big is coming. In 2020, millions of people were forced online overnight, and the online coaching industry and course creation industry exploded. Most people think that was a one-time event. I don't. Meet Sarah. She's 42 years old. She's a manager at a logistics company. She's smart, she's experienced, she makes good money. And over the past few years, AI has slowly been creeping into her job. And then one day she gets called into a meeting and she's laid off. If Sarah was the only person this happened to, it wouldn't really matter. But Sarah isn't alone. We're about to have millions of people coming online as freelancers, and things are about to get crazy. So if you want to be prepared, I need you to have an entrepreneurial mindset now. Because in 2020, I was working in an online business that went from about $400,000 a year to $2.3 million that year, because so many people were coming online in the spring of 2020. They had to figure out what they were doing and figure it out fast, and they were willing to put money down to do it. So in this video, I'm gonna help you get ready for the oncoming coaching boom so you can make the most of it and you don't miss out. Online coaching and courses are predicted to hit about $9.5 billion, and I want you to be able to claim your piece of that $9.5 billion pie. Here's why I'm predicting this. In 2019, about 35% of the US workforce was involved in freelancing in some way. So in real numbers, that was 57 million people. By 2024, that number jumped to 76.4 million people, which is 38% of the US workforce. So over COVID, that was about 20 million people entered the freelance economy. Now, it is being projected that somewhere between the years of 2027 and 2030, it will be the majority of the US workforce, the majority will be freelancers, at about 50.9%. And this isn't just like, will this happen? This is happening. Goldman Sachs has found that 16,000 jobs are being cut from the US economy every month due to AI. And other surveys are finding that 36% of employees are already thinking about freelancing. So people know this is happening. And there are websites with real-time trackers about how many job losses are happening weekly due to AI. There's literally jobloss.ai, and you can even bet on prediction markets like Kalshi for how many job losses are gonna happen. So again, it's not, will this happen? If this is gonna happen, it's to what degree is it happening? But it's happening. Now let's look at the coaching market. In 2019, the coaching industry was worth about $2.85 billion, right? This was before COVID. And then what happened during COVID? By 2022, the coaching industry was worth $4.56 billion. So it basically doubled over COVID. People saw the opportunity, they had to decide how they were gonna make a living. And by 2025, the coaching industry was worth about $5.34 billion. So it's still growing, just we saw a massive acceleration during COVID. And this is where so many people made millions of dollars. I bet you, if you go look at some of your favorite semi-famous online coaches and course creators, look at where they really popped off. Look at where they grew. In these income reports, you'll notice 2020 was the year they really popped off. And there's a reason for this. They didn't just get lucky. They were prepared to meet the moment, and then the massive wave came, and that's how they made their millions. That could be you, so let's get you ready. So what are we projecting to happen to the coaching industry from now to 2032? $9.5 billion is what the online coaching industry is projected to hit. That's another doubling. So please notice, just like the doubling of the coaching industry we saw, the boom that we saw over COVID, we are at the beginning of that again now. We're about to enter another doubling. And if that wasn't enough for you, let's look at another factor that's converging here. In 2010, global internet connectivity, so the number of people who had an internet connection, was 30%. In 2020, so COVID, in 2020, that number was 60%. So 60% of the people in the globe were connected to the internet and were able to participate in the digital economy. Do you know what that number is now? 75%. That's 6 billion people around the globe are plugged into the digital economy. They have digital wallets, digital banking, not just raw internet connectivity, but fintech has made it so that people are doing their banking and their spending online no matter where they are. By 2030, the United Nations is predicting we will have 100% global connectivity. That's another 2 billion people entering global markets with digital wallets. It's hilarious to me when people come to me stressed thinking their market is saturated, and that just tells me they don't understand how many people in the world there are. Do you think you could get a handful of clients out of 8 billion people? Do you think you could convince 50, 100, 200, 1,000 people, 30,000 people out of 8 billion to give you money in exchange for your services? I would bet yeah. So please stop saying your market is saturated, because it's not. It's literally growing. So we're at a really interesting confluence of major forces happening. And so devil's advocate here, some people might say, well, Kaylee, if AI is replacing jobs, won't AI replace coaches? Like, you may have seen Tony Robbins has made an AI version of himself that you can download, and it's fairly affordable. So yes, I would say coaching is splitting into two paths right now. Information coaching, if you're just giving people information, that's not valuable anymore. There's information everywhere, more information than we need or could possibly use. Knowing something doesn't differentiate you anymore. The utility of a coach now is in helping people make decisions, is in providing context, is in providing meaning, accountability, implementation, positioning. It's not about giving people information, it's helping people understand what to do with that information, okay? That is your role as a coach now. So what happens next? Sarah, who is laid off from her job, she doesn't need a vision board. She doesn't need motivation. You better believe when somebody's laid off, they're motivated to find what they're gonna do next. How are they gonna provide for themselves and their family? They don't need a motivational coach. What they need is a way to replace their income and to find a way to package and position their 15 years of expertise that they had in corporate, in the normal world, into this new world we've all entered into now. So for you, you have to get very concrete here, because there is a major difference, is that in 2020, a lot of people were given stimulus money. A lot of governments were basically subsidizing people's income. That's not necessarily likely gonna happen with AI unless governments all of a sudden decide universal basic income is a great idea, which I think it is, but I don't think it's gonna happen for the next 10 years. So in the meantime, without stimulus dollars, how are you going to convince someone to spend their limited income on your coaching services? So this is where I'm going to need you to get really concrete with the outcomes you help people get. So this isn't fluffy terminology like, I help you unlock your potential and build a business you love. No, we need concrete outcomes. Like, I'm going to help you take your 15 years of managerial experience and help you package that into a consulting offer and get you your first 3 clients in the next 45 days. Help people see what the steps are and how you get them there with the concrete, tangible outcomes. Yes, you may help them unlock their potential and build a business they love, but they need to understand in real terms, what does that actually mean? And let's play devil's advocate here again. One of the reasons the coaching industry is growing so fast is because it's unregulated. Anyone can call themselves a coach. There's even a Forbes article I read about how controversial it is that a lot of therapists are deciding to call themselves coaches instead, because it allows them so much more freedom. So one might ask, well, okay, with anybody being able to call themselves a coach, doesn't that just mean more competition? I would say yes, but don't be afraid of competition. That's the nature of business. And like I said, there's literally billions of people on planet Earth. I promise you we can get you some clients. But secondly, I've looked at the numbers. I've done the math. Did you know 90% of coaches do not hit 6 figures in revenue per year? So only 10% of coaches hit 6 figures and only 1% of coaches hit 7 figures. So if you want to be part of the 10% of coaches who make at least 6 figures a year, really hyper focus on getting people incredible results. That's probably the #1 best piece of advice I can give you. Take screenshots of everything. I need you to be collecting proof in a folder, literally create a Google Drive folder called proof and throw any evidence of results you help people get in there. That will be a big differentiator for you. And let's talk about what you can do if you're not a business coach per se. How can you make the most of the oncoming freelancing wave of people who are about to be working from home, even if you're not a business coach? Did you know they've done studies and found that about 1/3 of the increase of mental distress, like anxiety, depression, restlessness, feelings of worthlessness. They found about 1/3 of that increase directly attributable to remote work. So working from home is psychologically hard for a lot of people. You're isolated, you're not moving as much, you're probably not out in the sun as much as you should be. Corporate jobs provide structure. They provide a pretty clear path of how to orient yourself in an organization. What are your duties? What are your goals? What are you supposed to be doing every day? It's pretty clear, but when you're self-employed, if you're freelancing, you don't have that. It can be very chaotic. You have to be really good at creating those boundaries for yourself. And most people have never had to do that. So if you're an ADHD coach, if you're a mindfulness coach, honestly, I've paid 5 figures for a general life coach, a general life and success coach. If you can help people deal with that new chaos in their life and orient themselves and have some kind of structure, people will pay for that. If you're a health coach, sitting is the new smoking. And especially if you're not getting outside as much and you're working from home and you're gonna be a shrimp like me all day in front of the computer, that's a massive opportunity for you. Entrepreneurs need energy and they will discover that very quickly. So if you can help people feel the best, look the best, because if people are gonna be on camera having to sell their services, guess what they want? They're going to learn very quickly, hey, I need to dress a certain way. I need to figure out how to do on-camera makeup, by the way. So if you love makeup, you're a makeup artist, guess what? On-camera makeup, that's a whole skill. How to dress so you look nice on camera, how to set up a camera. If you're a confidence coach, a communication coach, a visibility coach, these are massive opportunities for you because most people do not feel comfortable in front of a camera. If you can help them do that and sell their services, you are golden. If you're a relationship coach, you're not left out of this either. Guess what's the #1 stressor in relationships? Money. Guess what becomes a massive point of focus for you once you're an entrepreneur? Money. Guess what can become a massive issue for couples when you work from home? That work-life balance. I've had to deal with partners really not respecting my boundaries while I'm working from home because it didn't feel real to them because they didn't understand that just because I'm home doesn't mean I'm not working. So the question is there a massive wave coming? It's already happening and it's already here. The only question is, will you be ready to make the most of it? Will you be seen as the go-to no-brainer person? You need to be ready with your messaging and you need to be ready with your scalable offer. One of the reasons the business I was working in 2020 blew up was because we were ready with our audience. We were showing up already consistently on social media and we had a scalable offer. If you do not have a scalable offer, you are limited by the time in your calendar. You must have a scalable offer, which is something that you can sell without trading more of your time to deliver. So this could be a group program, a membership, a course, anything that means your income is not capped by your calendar. That is crucial. So if you haven't thought about your scalable offer yet, I implore you, please do. And so to make your life easier, I have done all the work for you. I created this literal offer validation checklist. So you know exactly what your people want from you and what they will buy before you create it. I get asked all the time, Kaylee, how do I know what my audience wants? How do I know what people will pay for this thing? How do I know if I should name my product this or this? This answers that for you. It's free to download. Check the description. This is the #1 thing you must do if you want to make the most of the coaching boom, is you have to have a scalable offer. So please go check that out. It's completely free. If this video resonated, the next one to watch is how I made $40,000 as a beginner coach. It goes deeper on what to do and what not to do so you don't waste your time. I'll see you there.